Hello again, sheepherd. Bet you didn't expect me to be back to making videos so soon, huh? Well, as I stated I was going to do, I did at least wait until the new year, this year, 2024, to come back from my break. Anyways, that's not the point. To get on topic with the video, I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned this revelation I had, but it's something I was thinking about a whole lot after I made the last countdown of 2023. For as many iconic and really well-made PSAs as South Africa has, I've never seen a PSA compilation dedicated specifically to the land of Springboks, which is a shame since I've almost never seen a bad South African PSA. A lot of them are nightmarish, creative, and 99.9% of the time, very well done. Well, I suppose that will make me the first to make a countdown dedicated to PSAs from what is, in my opinion, the most underrated country when it comes to scary PSAs. Roll the intro. Well, that escalated quickly, or should I say, de-escalated. Honestly though, it's probably the most lighthearted PSA on here despite its incredibly dark punchline involving the balcony collapsing and all the smokers on said balcony plummeting to their almost certain death. Which is described as one of the many ways smoking can seriously damage your health. Well, just another reason for me to decline cigarettes. The story of two boys and the vastly different men they grew up to be. One was a troublemaker who never grew out of it. The other was a very play-by-the-rules type who made out pretty well in life. However, they ended up in the same place due to the fact that drinking and driving is just as much of a dangerous crime as mugging is. Honestly, some really deep stuff when you think about it, to be honest. Though this is more of a depressing PSA than a scary one.
It's easy to stop using drugs. In the beginning, I could go weeks without using, but I found the spaces between stopping and starting got smaller. From weeks to days to hours. Even when the drugs had consumed everything, I could stop. The problem was staying stopped. I just couldn't do it. I eventually found myself walking to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, and I found out how to stay stopped. One day at a time.
Such a simplistic PSA, and yet it's all the more powerful because of it. The PSA focuses on one shot of a ticking clock on a stand in a woman's room, which starts ticking faster and faster as the relapses the narrator has back into addiction become more and more frequent, though the PSA eventually ends on a hopeful note as the narrator attends Narcotics Anonymous and learns how to stop one day at a time. It's one of the most powerful South African PSAs I've ever seen, despite how incredibly simplistic it is.
Looking for a place to take the family this holiday season? Discover St. Tristine's. Nestled between glorious mountain escarpment and glistening ocean, St. Tristine's offers it all. Enjoy pristine air-conditioned accommodation. Be cared for by our professional, friendly staff. They're here to make your stay an unforgettable one. St. Tristine's provides a secure environment for the kids. Lie back and soak up the ambience, or take advantage of some of our amazing holiday amenities. Room service, coffee lounge, and exercise centre, all at the unbelievable holiday price of 1,200 Rand per person per night sharing. Make it a festive season to remember at St. Tristine's.
You know, I used to think the Brits were masters of dark humor, but now I realize that the South Africans have quite the grip on it too. And this PSA is why I say this, since it's an incredibly creative concept. Presenting a hospital as a nice hotel you can end up in if you drink and drive is a concept I wouldn't have even considered. And on paper, it would sound incredibly tasteless, but it's very well executed here. The end result of this is a darkly comedic ride of a PSA that hammers the message home to not drink and drive, lest you end up taking a vacation to this place that you didn't plan on.
I see Kelly last night.
Yeah, she was incredible.
Did you see what she was wearing? Who didn't?
But you know her and Donovan have broken up.
No, I know. Donovan was there and I felt so sorry for him.
But they've been broken up for 2 weeks.
Why?
Well, when she came back from the travels, she was like, I'm over it. Got somebody new. Has anyone
Hello?
seen her? He was there the other day.
Hi.
Donovan, she's there.
How are you? Yes.
Ah yes, the much better version of PETA's only good PSA. And why do I say it's better than PETA Asia's Behind the Leather? It's simply because of how it's played. What makes this PSA so unnerving compared to the over-dramatized behind the leather is the sheer apathy the woman who owns this fur handbag has towards the fact that said bag contains bloody, double entendre fully intended organs that are burying her phone, and neither do her friends. Honestly, this seems like something you'd see if there was such a thing as a 30-something high school serial killer sitcom. But it makes sense when we are hit with the tagline, "If only everyone could see the real costs of fur," which I took to imply that, well, we, the viewer, can see these bloody organs. The women in the PSA can't.
Once upon a time, on Meadows Farm, a little lamb named Clarence was born. Clarence was a caracal lamb with beautiful tight black curls. "Welcome to the world," said Clarence's mum, ever so proud.
Holy shit, this PSA took a turn for the cruel. I've got a soft spot for lambs, which makes sense since, well, I am a sheep. That's basically like humans seeing a baby. And sure, Clarence is, or was anyway, a caracal lamb, and I'm a Dorset horn ram. But sheep and lambs are all family to me, regardless of breed or residence. And while I just cannot see the sense in killing a little lamb within moments of their birth for their pelts, because at that point, you're not even giving them a fucking chance. Like, your life is gonna end just as quickly as it began. How even your average meat lamb isn't slaughtered until they're at least 6 to 8 months old. I just don't get it. There's no sense in it. Most of the time, you can just get wool from shearing the fucking sheep. And I would not recommend you go on Wikipedia and look up how some caracal pelts are harvested either. Jesus, this PSA is dark.
Alright, I'm here in the car with my brother James, and I've asked him a pretty tough mathematical question. Okay, James, let me ask you again, alright? If you were driving 80 kilometers per hour, how long would it take you to drive 80 kilometers?
Okay, wait. In a car, 80 kilometers per hour. Maybe like 80 minutes?
James, you think it's going to take you 80 minutes to drive 80 kilometers at 80 kilometers per hour?
Hold on.
Okay, James, yeah, go.
Oh, 8 minutes.
James! James, no, James, I'm not, okay. Listen, man, right. The answer is in the question, James. Do you need me to repeat it to you?
Wait, the answer's in the question.
Okay, listen to me, James. If you were driving 80 kilometers per hour,
Yeah,
how long would it take you to drive 80 kilometers?
80 kilometers per hour.
Yes.
The tough.
My God!
Well, this PSA looked incredibly dated, however, it's still an incredibly creative concept for a PSA. It starts off as one of those goofy videos of someone asking their friend an incredibly simple math question, and the friend overthinking it, causing them to make a fool of themselves, and you've probably seen one of these pranks or been the unknowing victim of one of these lighthearted pranks. However, We're immediately snapped out of the goofy, joking mood of this PSA when we see James, the victim of the prank, tell his brother, Michael, who's driving the car, to look out, only for the phone to go flying and land on the floor of the car when the car crashes. It was, in fact, Michael who was the biggest idiot, as he was recording while driving, or at least I think so, since he was on the left side and South Africans drive on the left. But I'd actually say both the brothers were huge fucking idiots, since James didn't even bother telling his brother to, focus on the fucking road before the car was about to collide into them. Jesus, nobody had anything close to common sense in this PSA. I swear, our protagonists here are the poster children for the too dumb to live trope.
Hello, kids! What a beautiful day! Perhaps today...
Hello, Biggie Bear.
What do you want, Mr. Rabbit?
I just popped around to say hello on this beautiful day.
I told you not to come here anymore. This is my show.
Hello, kids. How are you all doing?
Shut up.
What's the matter, Biggie?
Shut up! Huh? You like that?
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Oh, that's not good enough. Do you see what happens when you come to my garden, Bunny? Huh? Do you see what happens? Hello, kids. What a beautiful day. Look, the sun is out. Oh, yes, Mr. Spotty. Hi, Mr. Spotty.
Hello.
What's the matter?
I don't know. I'm just sad.
But it's such a beautiful day. Well, I've got just the thing to cheer you up.
What is it?
It's something that'll make you happy again. Look at the bubbles.
Are you sure this is okay?
It's fine. Everybody does it. See, kids, it's easy to be happy again. Bye. Hello, kids. What a lovely day for a walk it is. Would you like to take a walk with me? Come on. Hello, I'm Biggie Bear.
Hello, Biggie Bear. My name's Miss Pussycat, and I've been collecting flowers.
They're wonderful, Miss Pussycat. And so are you.
Thanks, Biggie Bear.
You feel pretty good.
You feel pretty good, too. Biggie?
Come with me.
Biggie?
Shut up.
This series of PSAs has become pretty popular in this decade, and understandably so. Biggie Bear is probably the most unhinged PSA protagonist I've ever seen, being an icon in his own right. He's even got his own pages on TV tropes and the Villains Wiki, fitting the trope depraved kids show host to a T, while doing Mr. Rabbit in with a fucking pistol for daring to steal the spotlight from him, attempting to cure Mr. Spotty's depression with heroin, or outright raping Miss Pussycat. Biggie Bear is everything a kids show host shouldn't be personified. Don't let his charming appearance fool you. This bear is a menace that makes Monokuma look tame. As the PSAs state, be careful, or these could very well be the lessons your kid learns from TV, or these days, YouTube Kids.
At first, my drug use was social. I thought I could handle it. Everybody was doing it. But my drug use trapped me in a place I knew well. Couldn't escape from. I could not stop. Couldn't breathe. I was drowning. I was dying. If your drug use has become a problem and you can't keep your head above water, please let NA help you. Reach out. We are one call away.
I've seen the trapped underwater metaphor used to refer to drug addiction in a few PSAs, most notably Thin Ice by Partnership for a Drug-Free America. However, this PSA executes the metaphor in its own uniquely horrifying way. The idea of drowning in your own bathtub is a horrifying concept I'd never even considered before. And even if it weren't for this premise, what makes the PSA all the more terrifying, with this aside, is how terrified the man is, especially in the rapid succession of flashes where he screams. He's thankfully dragged out of this watery trap by a kind woman, as a metaphor for being helped through his addiction, but this PSA is still quite an unnerving sight to behold. One PSA, two drastically different endings. One incredibly sick ending where a nonce makes off with a little girl while his friends do nothing, and another where the nonce is rightfully apprehended by the police for the sick nature of what he attempted to do. What really creeps me out about this PSA is the fact that in the beginning segment, nobody tried to stop the nonce besides the little girl that he wanted to steal the innocence of. Nobody even cared.
There are many Izinyoka among us these days. Izinyoka that steal cables, cutting the power supply. Izinyoka that make illegal connections. Selling stolen cables. They are everywhere. So help Eskom put these Izinyoka where they deserve to be. In a hole. Don't take the law into your own hands. Call the Eskom crime line. Confidentiality guaranteed.
I talked about this one in my top 10 scariest crime PSAs countdown, and it's still one of my favorite South African PSAs, Even though I joked about the Izinyoka being copycats of the snake dealer from the eponymous Partnership for a Drug-Free America PSA, I love the aesthetic of this PSA, especially the Izinyoka themselves, which, if you're seeing the thumbnail for this countdown, you know I drew. It still scares me just how much that these Izinyoka are willing to do to make money by stealing cables, since one suffocates an intubated patient, leaves an exposed live wire in the street for a young boy to electrocute himself with his bike on, and destroys power stations. Also, the fact that we've got one of South Africa's most unsettling PSA narrators really doesn't lessen the scare factor here.
I hope my first bake sale is a success. I hope I will be a good businessman like my dad.
I hope I can go back to school.
I hope I'll see my family soon.
I hope things will change.
I hope.
This started out so wholesome, with kids' aspirations for the future, but it took a very dark turn very quickly, with a girl working as a housemaid just wanting to go back to school, a boy working in the mines wanting to see his family soon, a young girl who loses her innocence by the night for money wants things to change, and the saddest one is just a child soldier who hopes. It's an incredibly heartbreaking PSA, especially when it comes to the last two. The implications of the last one, with a child soldier who's likely had to see and do horrible things, still has that childlike hope that things will get better, that things won't always be this horrible or chilling.
Tula tu, tula mtwana, tula sana. Tula, tula, tula sana. Tula, 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 baba. Tula.
Holy shit, this is some underrated nightmare fuel right here. Everything from the childish singing with a bit of echo added to the child melting like a candle is incredibly unsettling. Holy shit. Perhaps this is a bit too original of an idea, although this is something I typically admire about South African PSAs. The actor is also incredibly good at feigning agony too. 15,000 children being burned with matches a year are honestly really sad to think about.
So I'm not enough for you, huh? Do you think I'm stupid, huh? Do you think I'm stupid? You're disgusting. Look at you. It's supposed to be your mother.
I was just being friendly.
Just wait till we get home.
I've been running Dylan around all day.
Look at this place. Do you want to live in filth? Do you want to live in filth?
Dylan!
Get back to your room! What's all this? Huh? Clean up this mess. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yo, Dylan, let's go.
Dad, we're watching a movie.
Duff.
What's wrong with you?
You. So you're a big man now, huh? You are nothing. You'll always be a nothing. Ah! Enough! You really don't want to listen. Just wait till we get home. I need to speak to someone, please.
This PSA wouldn't scare me so much if it weren't for the implications that the abusive behavior of the first father towards our protagonist and his mother almost led him to follow in his footsteps. He grew up with his father constantly demeaning his mom, calling him nothing, before he breaks down and almost repeats the cycle. Thankfully, he decides against it after seeing his young son in the backseat and decides to be a better role model, instead seeking help breaking the cycle. And it's unfortunately a very big possibility that the first dad saw his own father treat his mother in this way, leading to what he is now.
I begged him to stop, but it only made it worse. It's like there's this thing inside of him that just snaps. And when he's like that, he won't listen to reason. I just have to sit there and take it. But this time he just totally lost control. They said I was lucky to be alive. They said that if he'd been driving any faster, then I wouldn't be here today.
An incredibly effective PSA that is chillingly frank in its message. We see a battered woman in tears about how her begging her partner to stop only makes her pain worse, and that he's prone to blackout rage. We're initially led to believe that these bruises and scars are from a physical attack. However, it's a different form of abuse that gave her these wounds. That form of abuse being that her partner had been aggressively driving, presumably out of road rage, causing an accident that gave her these bruises and scars. It's not the first PSA that pulls this kind of bait and switch. In fact, there is a supposedly banned British PSA 20 years older than this one that baits the viewer into thinking it's a domestic abuse PSA when it's actually a drunk driving PSA. However, I think this one did it much better. Ah yes, South Africa's version of Funniest Home Video, where footage of mishaps caused by texting and walking are paired with silly sounds and jovial music, only for us to have a mood whiplash that, while not as intense as Funniest Home Video or Think Seriously, is definitely up there, considering we go from light-hearted footage of minor mishaps to a full-on car crash with blood splatter. There's certainly no reason to text and drive, considering the stakes are a whole lot higher than when you're walking.
I saw a picture of you from the other night. Saw a picture of you and there's something not right. You seem so sad as the other smile. Your eyes say there's somebody else on your mind. Let's go. Just hold on now, hold on tight. We could stay together one more night. Just take my hand, take my life. We should stay together one more night.
We've got 4 dead. They say the one without the seatbelt did the damage over.
I love the song in this PSA, and the PSA itself is beautifully shot, which makes the carnage we are subjected to in the final 30 seconds of this PSA all the harder to watch. This starts out as a sweet love story among young sweethearts, making that crash and the subsequent carnage that comes from our young man being unbuckled during said crash all the more horrific, yet oddly beautiful in a sense. But then, with one final bone-smashing sound effect as we're led to believe that this is their dark first kiss, we're snapped back into reality as it is revealed all 4 people are dead due to our unbuckled human wrecking ball. Mood whiplash after mood whiplash in this PSA, folks.
Sure. What's up, boy? I'm just. Go CC.
An incredibly underrated PSA, this time about drinking and walking on roads. It's an interesting use of Zulu language and culture as we see these drunk men, with the aid of CGI, turning into these very well done demon creatures, reflecting the sorcery the PSA is referring to, walking through a city in Western Cape. And then, adding to the incredibly unnerving nature of this PSA, we see our protagonist get struck by a car that seems to come out of fucking nowhere before we pan to his dead body with blood pooling by his head. As unnerving as this entire PSA is, it's also really fucking cool in concept and execution, and probably my favorite South African PSA. This PSA used to scare the hell out of me back in the day when I used to watch PSA compilations on my mom's old laptop. Even the music would get me to minimize my screen, and the sight of this woman's tarred face still haunts my nightmares. Everything about this PSA just feels so off, even without the sight of her tarred face. But that final shot where the tarred woman breathes in the smoke just further cements this PSA in my nightmares. It'd terrify anyone in their right mind out of ever picking up a cigarette.
You look so nice. Hello, Daddy. Hi, Mom. Dad, come here. Daddy's little girl. Please, Daddy, no. Quiet. Daddy's little girl.
If you don't stop him from raping her, who will? Find your strength.
As much as I hate going with the popular opinion when it comes to PSAs, I can't deny it. This is indeed the scariest PSA to ever come out of South Africa, as I stated in my top 75 scariest PSAs countdown, and the most famous one they've ever made too. And it's no wonder, given that what we see, or rather hear in this PSA is a big part of it. To say that the audio is sickening is an understatement, as we hear the daughter, who doesn't sound like she's much more than 5, having her innocence ripped away from her in the worst way possible by what is supposed to be the first positive male role model in her life, that being her own father. God damn, some heavy shit right there. Well, ladies, gentlemen, and fellow non-binary daisies, I hope you enjoyed this countdown from the most underrated country when it comes to PSAs, as much as I enjoyed making it. I popped off last year, and I hope this year is even better, since I've got a lot in store for 2024, including a remake of this channel's most beloved countdown. Anyways, if you did indeed enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you've done all those things, join my Discord server. It's grown to over 50 members as of recently, and it's still counting. Anyways, if you've done all these things, y'all have a great day. Antonio out. Peace.